protests turned destructive in downtown Seattle tonight. Here's what we know. Since then, we have seen widespread looting. 200 members of the Washington National Guard have been called up to come into Seattle. 75 have been deployed to Seattle tonight. The other 100.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in the city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
Hey, God bless you there, everyone. Alfred Johnson, coming to communicate with you again. It's my pleasure, it's my honor to be able to talk to fellow patriots and potential patriots. Some of you need to become patriots. You need to fall in love again with your country. There's a lot of beautiful stuff going on. The opportunity that you might not even be aware of, that's right under your nose, but you're not aware of it because your eyes are not open to it. You're not looking for it. But I'm telling you, if you look, this stuff is here. And beautiful stuff our country offers. So I've been communicating on a variety of issues, trying to inform especially my black patriots and black potential patriots and the brown patriots, the Hispanics and those that we consider the brown, among us, But this is also for the white patriots as well. Listen, I need for every one of you to pass this stuff along, man. You need to go ahead and like the video and pass it along. Give it to family members. Many of them are looking for a list of things that Trump has done for the blacks and for the browns. They want to know what he's done. Well, make certain that they get this. And it's beautiful stuff. And look, I've studied this stuff out. I've been following what he's been doing from the very beginning. I listened to the great majority of all of his broadcasts. I analyze his promises and then whether or not he fulfilled them. And I am telling you, there's a reason why I'm backing him up, and it's not because of some foolish reason. I've heard a black called me racist. I'm like, what in the world? If that's not the most absurd, these folks, they're willing to go to the absurd because something is going on emotionally and spiritually. You're a racist. I'm racist. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, but that's where we are. That's where the society has come, and they're willing to go there because of an unwillingness to humble themselves to even learn, to discover facts. So they're prejudiced. Their emotions are following their prejudgment, and then they condemn you if you're not in agreement with their ideas. Then they don't even realize that they don't even know what they are affirming. And they're upset that you do. It's really a remarkable thing. But anyhow, so today we're going to continue our subject matter. Again, I'm telling you, I am biased. I'm biased in favor of Christ. I'm biased in favor of the truth. And my political leanings are conservative. Now, I'm telling you straightforward, I'm that kind of patriot. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the limits that the Constitution imposes on the government. I believe that when the government steps out of those powers, out of the parameters that we gave them, that they are operating as masters rather than the servants of the people. I believe all of that, okay? And so I not just lean in that direction, I embrace that direction, okay? I'm just straightforwardly telling you the truth. But those are some of the reasons why I do. It has nothing to do with anything racial and everything else. It has all to do with principles and outcome. And it has also to do with the faith, the moral standings of things. So that's where we're going with that. Hey, so today we're going to speak about another one of his major initiatives, things that are being pushed on the state level. They actually preceded him. But it wasn't preceded by the former administration. It was preceded by states who look to bring school choice, the opportunity for parents, low-income parents, to have their children in a school of their choice. Why in the world? I still don't understand why the Democrats want their children to be stuck in public schools, especially failing public schools. Why? There's something demonic about wanting your child to stay in a D or an F school just because it's a public school. Something's wrong with that. Okay, and when you're given the opportunity to say, hey, listen, through the school choice program, you have a variety of options: a public, charter, magnet, Private, hey, which one works best for you? Which one works best for your child? And you would think that to be common sense. What works best for your child? Why should what's called public school have a monopoly on education? You might say because they're public. No, 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 no. A private school is also a public school. It's available to the public. It's just that typically they use private funds. Okay? But it's all of these schools are public schools. They're open to the public. Okay, and so this is amazing stuff. But the school choice program, look at here. President Trump has called on Congress to pass school choice legislation so that no child is trapped in a failing school because of his or her zip code. Okay, the president and then the head of administration on the national level, Betsy DeVos, they are pushing for school choice nationwide. This is huge again for the black community. This is huge. Listen, the private schools that are popping up everywhere in low-income areas, I know of one right now that most of their children are Title I or they're low-income students, free lunch students, and in the schools that they came from, they had difficulty advancing academically a lot just because of the instability of the school in terms of the kids fighting all the time. You're dealing with fights and things of the sort. And believe me, even if your child isn't involved in the fight, just witnessing the fight disturbs your mind, keeps it at unrest so that when you're in the classroom, you can't focus. Particular school that I know of has had 3 fights altogether in the last 3 years. Altogether on average. Averaging 1 fight for the last 3 years. That's 3 fights in the last 3 years. Now, that kind of classroom management allows you to be able to get the children are able to focus. It allows you to be able to get close to the child, communicate to the child, direct the child, mentor the child, and the child is in a state of peace and receptivity. The classroom management, the school's culture changes things. The school choice program that the president himself is pushing Congress to pass means so much to the black community. It means so much. Your children just having an option. Just having an option. By the way, this school choice is an option. If your child is doing well in public school, well, have at it. Do what you're going to do. Child doing well in charter school, have at it. Do what you're going to do. Magnet school, great. But what about a private school? Why not? Well, separation of church and state. Well, now all of a sudden we're revisiting that, aren't we? Because a lot of the stuff you were taught about separation of church and state was actually discrimination against the church. Why in the world would a Christian pay taxes to send their kids to a public school, but those same tax dollars can't be spent at a private school of the parents' choice? So again, the public school has a monopoly, and a monopoly on how the school is managed. So since Christ is left out of the school, a Christian's dollars can be used to send a child to public school where they are actually banning God, banning Christ from the school. However, those same dollars can't be spent with a school of our choice at a Christian school. Folks, that's called discrimination. And it's an unfair discrimination that is right now being addressed, both judicially and legislatively. The fact that the president is willing to push school choice is a great benefit for our people. Don't you understand that the lower income schools end up getting teachers that are not top tier teachers. You see, the top tier teachers that have the tenure, they get an option. Many of them get an option at the school that they want to teach at. Once they succeed, one of the great rewards that they get from their success is being able to pick what school you teach at. Most schools are going to want an exceptional teacher that has the accolades of being a top tier teacher. Okay, which means that the lower income schools are probably not going to get those teachers. A teacher that has the option is probably not going to take on the challenges that come along with the low income community and the low income community schools. It's just the way it is, people. But if you had an opportunity to be able to have your child in that context go to a private school where the context is different, the culture is different, you have an opportunity now to put your child on a whole nother different trajectory. Okay? And folks, the opportunity now exists because Republicans are pushing it nationwide. Yes, you heard what I said. Republicans are leading that charge to give you and your family and your baby a choice of what education delivery your family would receive. Okay? Listen, so you have the opportunity to either support the president and to back these Republicans as they're fighting for your family, or you can just stay prejudiced if you want to and believe that all Republicans are racist. And many of you have been so conditioned in that it's sad. You're blind as a bat, and they're lying to you. Okay? Your media and your party, they're lying to you. Okay? These Republicans are trying to push so that you can have school choice. Now, what are you going to do about that? You're going to continue to call them racist while they're trying to help your family? These are policies of great significance to you and yours. And they're real. See, these are not opinions and personalities and all that. And he racist, he racist. Let's go to the policies. What policy was created either for or against you? Matter of fact, I challenge you to discover any Republican policy that's actually against our race. You're not going to find any. You're going to find some hyped up stuff that the news media communicated to you and that you believed. Okay? Or one of your party leaders communicated to you and you believed it. They lied to you. Plain and simple. You have the opportunity now to back what you know backs your family. The Republicans are for school choice. Parent, you have an opportunity to send your child to the school of your choice. And here in the state of Florida, you really have that opportunity in living color, especially if you're low income. These scholarships are absolutely available to you, and you could take advantage of them. Also here in the state of Florida, there's the the Family Empowerment Scholarship. Very real. Very real. A lot of resources right here extended to students who are looking for another option, a family looking for another option. And boy, I'm telling you, these options are beautiful. Okay, but the president is pushing it. All right. The president signed funding legislation in September of 2018 that increased funding for school choice by $42 million. He also is pushing Congress to create for the 2020 budget. He pushed the Congress for $500 million nationwide for the school choice program. $500 million for your babies. By the way, this was done by this president, President Donald Trump. Again, not the previous administration of Obama, not Bush 2, not Clinton, not Bush 1. I have to keep saying that because they all had the opportunity to do it, and they did not do it. Obama had the opportunity to do it, to forward school choice, to give the children and the families an opportunity that the children can advance better, another context they could advance better in. He didn't use it the entire 8 years. And by the way, that's a fact. See, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. He didn't push school choice. Matter of fact, challenged school choice, opposed school choice. And so does the whole Democrat Party platform. Their entire platform is against school choice. Now, what are you going to do about that? You're going to still embrace them and love them while they're stabbing you in the back and they're smiling in your face with a knife in their hand. You better wake up. The ones that are fighting for you, for your choice, for your freedom, for your betterment, for your next level are the Republicans. And in particular, President Trump, who's leading an amazing charge, and he's putting money where his mouth is. $42 million in the 2018 budget. In the 2020, he wanted nationwide $500 million to support the school choice program nationally. What would that mean for our people? Almost like an academic renaissance. Do you know what it means when you put those kind of funds in the hands of people who have good intentions? And by the way, whenever you're dealing with the black community, this is a perfect way for black leadership to be able to rise very efficiently, because there's a lot of tape, a lot of red tape you got to go through to become an administrator, especially in a public school. There's only so many seats. But when you diversify, when you decentralize, and you're able to have these smaller private schools pop up all over the place, black leadership is able to rise just as efficiently. And you can now, the community can actually speak to itself. Now you can actually raise up local leadership that can speak to the children, leadership that can hold families and children accountable. This is what the school choice program does. And if I were you, I would look into it if you don't know about it. And I have personal experience in the school choice program, very personal, constructive experience in the Florida school choice program. All right. And folks, you're going to want to find out more and more about it. But these are the agendas that the president is pushing, and you would do well to get involved. The tax cuts signed into law by President Trump promote school choice by allowing families to use 529 college savings plans for elementary and secondary education to divert things so that they can get their babies prepared for the future. Folks, pay attention. Who did that again? Oh yeah, Trump. Was that done by previous administration? No. Okay? Trump fighting for your family. Folks, I've already mentioned so many different things right now that are working for the black race and for our family and for the brown community. This should be enough for you to say, wait a minute. Let me go and look into this myself. It should be enough. But if not, let me continue. ISIS. Under his leadership, ISIS has lost most of their territory and been largely dismantled. Matter of fact, it's getting close to 100% in the Middle East. Now you're saying that has nothing to do with us, has nothing to do with our people over there. You know what's going on. The wars have been going on over there for thousands of years. Yeah, it's just that America hasn't been over there for thousands of years. And the instability that was over there in the Middle East with ISIS being heavily involved, it ensured that so long as that kind of instability existed over there, American troops would have to be on the ground. Folks, it means American troops would have to be on the ground. Okay? It happens to be that the ground troops are Army, Marines. Now, is that difficult? It's not difficult to understand. Army, Marines. It happens to be that the Army, most of our people go into that Army. If there's a bunch of unrest over there in the Middle East, there goes our sons and daughters. There goes our sons and daughters. Now, President Trump, by defeating them, allowing the generals to do their job in defeating ISIS, we're able to pull some of our troops home. We're able to pull some of our sons and daughters home. This policy of pulling our troops back out of these global wars means that our good boys, and these are our boys, that are actually going to war, and they're good citizens, they're mature citizens, and they've chosen to fight for their country, we get to bring them back home and allow their local influence to have its bear on our communities. These young men whose lives have been changed by the disciplines associated with military are able to bring that state of mind back to their community so that they can serve. Why in the world would we want our children, really black, white, all and Spanish, but why in the black community, why would we want our best people having to fight unnecessary wars overseas? I want our troops to be right here. You know, we only send them when we have to, in America's interest. We don't go out there trying to babysit everybody. But by defeating ISIS, we've been able to bring our sons and daughters home. That means something direct to the black community. Our more productive citizens coming back home. And they're able to speak and use their influence to talk to our young black peers and give them some direction about their future. I think that whole thing is beautiful. May the Lord bless Donald Trump. Do you realize that this didn't happen in the previous administration? In the previous administration, ISIS grew in a way that was remarkable. A bunch of death, and a bunch of war in the previous administration right there in that Middle East. And it was the policies, it was our position towards Israel, it was our position towards those allies over there. And we weren't really backing them and protecting them against big powers over there, such as Iran. And we allowed these bad relationships to really cause a bunch of problems over there and destabilize governments. On comes President Trump. And now we are watching in the Middle East some very special things taking place. You have actual nations that hadn't dealt with Israel in a long time. They are now dealing with Israel. They are now forming treaties, and they're now regulating their relationships and making it more regular, making their embassies. They're at each other in each other's countries. They have flights that have opened up between their countries. That hostility subsiding, at least for now. But this is beautiful. It's happened under President Trump, and I am a very happy man. How about we get our sons and daughters back over here, of all of us, of the whole race, black, white, brown, the whole race. But especially since I'm speaking mostly to the black patriots and to the brown patriots, but white patriots as well. Let's get our babies back home. Let's get our sons and daughters back home and let them use their influence and their maturity and their goodness to help in these low-income communities. Listen, folks, this stuff is very, very real. I could have spent more time on that school choice one. That school choice is huge, everyone. It's huge. I'm talking about a revolution for good. For good, that would revitalize the American spirit, that would help more people to attain the American dream, is right at our fingertips. If we would be willing, leaders everywhere, to have courage and initiative to bring about change. And it's right at hand now. What are you going to do about that? Need every one of you, please let our people know. Please share this. Now you got to do it now, right now. Don't get off without sharing this right now to some friends. Let them hear. I love you and I respect you, and I'm hoping that you're joining me as a fellow patriot. I have no insults necessarily for any American citizen. Those who don't know, you just don't know. But you got to wake up. You do have to open your eyes, because there's an evil force that is now working in that party that most of us vote for, and it's not good. Attack on family, attack on church, attack on education, attack on every institution that matters. And we better wake up. I love you. We'll talk to you again.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.